Hi there, I'm Brandy Lloyd, and you are listening to the Restore Path podcast, a place for women over 40 who want to feel good, look good, and do good in the world, and not be burdened with chronic pain and fatigue. Today, I'm answering the question, why is everyone talking about the lymphatic system, and why should I even care? Well, let me ask you, do you want to lose weight? The kind of weight that sticks around because your body isn't very good at detoxifying. Maybe you have some extra inflammation in your body. Do you want to reduce your daily body or joint pain? Would you like some healthy, glowing skin? How about better sleep? If you answered yes to any of this, then you're going to want to take a little bit of time with me today to understand what the lymphatic system is and how easy it is to improve its function so that you can reap the benefits of a healthy, flowing lymphatic system. Now, bear with me for a little bit. This is going to get just a little bit sciencey, but I'm going to try and keep it fun. I want you to put your student hat on and try and visualize what I'm talking about today, because it really, truly is an amazing system in the body. And I, for one, I'm really excited that people are finally talking about it. So I'm going to explain what the lymphatic system is first, and then I'll get to some easy peasy action steps for you to take. These are steps that I do faithfully every single morning and occasionally throughout the day. All right, so here we go. It's going to get a little bit of sciencey, but I know you can handle this. The lymphatic system is a crucial player in your immune system. It not only protects you from illness, but it helps your body rid itself of toxins by simply eliminating them from your body. Now, I like to refer to the lymph system as the body's waste management highway. It owns the trucks, it owns the workers, it owns the road. It just works out in my mind that way, and maybe it will for you too. Now, many others refer to it as the inner drainage system. I don't know. It doesn't quite do it the same for me as the waste management highway. But the lymphatic system, it is a rather complex network of vessels and nodes, that's N-O-D-E-S, like lymph nodes all around the body. I bet you already know a couple lymph nodes. If you lift up your chin and you put your hands on either side underneath your jaws, I know as a mom, we'd feel our kids to see if those were, really big and swollen, right? Lymph nodes. Yeah, those lymph nodes have lymph fluid in them. The lymph vessels are filled with lymph fluid that go all around the body from various tissues, and they go into these nodes. And a lot of important stuff goes down in the lymph nodes, and I'm going to address that in a little bit. So we have the lymphatic superhighway that is filled with lymphatic fluid that circulates all around the body and courses through strategically placed lymph nodes that act as kind of a way station of sorts. Now, it's important to keep your lymphatic fluid flowing. It needs to be the right consistency to flow as well. A sluggish lymphatic system means a sluggish waste management or toxic removal system. We don't want congestion or stagnation or basically some kind of traffic jam on our super immune highway. I know I don't. Now, the main objective or role of the lymph system is to make sure you're protected from infections, viruses, bacteria, and even cancer development, cancer cell development specifically. So this is why I take my lymphatic system care very seriously, and I really hope you do too, especially after listening to this. Hopefully this kind of makes sense. Now, unlike other vessels in your body, like blood vessels, the lymphatic system, lymphatic vessels, they can't move the fluid along by themselves. They don't squeeze like your blood vessels do. It actually requires movement to assist and squeeze the lymphatic fluid that has the toxins in it along in your body. So just imagine your muscles massaging these lymphatic vessels. Now I'm going to squeeze in a little tip here. Making sure you're properly hydrated, that means drinking water and moving throughout the day, and not consuming an inflammatory diet are the absolute best ways for you to care for your waste management highway. So if you're short on time, that is the bottom line. Hydration, movement, and consuming a low inflammation diet. But boom, if that's all the time you have right now, then go for it. But let me tell you, I'm a nutritionist, so I'm going to talk about food, right? I'm a personal trainer, so I'm going to talk about movement. And I'm a woman, a busy woman, and I'm going to talk about how to incorporate the right eating and the right movement in your life for the right season of life. Did you know that the pathforhealth.com has a favorites tab? So often my clients ask me about products that I recommend to them that I went ahead and put some of the products on my favorites tab, whether it's collagen or shakes or vitamins or just like little foods that I found on Amazon or whatever, just things that make clean living and healthy living easier. So if you're interested in checking out some of the products that are tried and tested and true and things that I stand behind, are they absolutely perfect? No. But as I jokingly say, they are Brandy approved. And you can find all of those products on the pathforhealth.com on the favorites tab. Thanks. Here's the rest of your podcast. So let's back up a little bit and talk about food. And it's the fact that it's a major influence on this lymphatic function. I wonder how many times I'm actually going to say lymph or lymphatic throughout this podcast. I wish there was a short way for me to say it. But imagine if you only consumed processed food in your home. I'm going to create a little picture for you in your mind. You're just a processed food eater in your home. And each package, each wrapper, each container from the food items that you're buying, the processed foods, they're starting to build up some trash meal after meal. And you keep piling this trash in your kitchen. And there's no one that's taking the waste paper baskets or the trash cans out and dumping them. The best that's happening is maybe when the kitchen gets overfilled day after day, week after week, maybe somebody's going to say, all right, let's start putting this stuff, in another room, the growing trash pile of containers, wrappers, and boxes. Let's start putting them in the dining room. And then maybe when the dining room is full, we're going to take up the living room, right? So let's call each room a node, like a lymph node. The kitchen is a lymph node. The dining room is a lymph node. The living room is yet another lymph nodes. These are just places in your homes that you can store things. Now, if you're never taking the trash out, just imagine how congested, how nasty, and how like disease-ridden your house is eventually going to get. The little leftover waste and food particles that are on those papers are going to start to rot and get yucky. It's going to smell. No one's going to want to go in there. They're going to think, ugh, if I go into that house, I'm going to get sick. Same with your body. We need to clean out these rooms. We need to clean out these lymph nodes. We need workers to come in and eventually move the trash out of the living room and out of the front door, put it onto the trucks, and get it the heck out of here. We want clean rooms. We want clean lymph nodes. And we want lots of workers. We don't want them bumping into each other. We want it to be free flowing, right? Because if you're going to just kind of keep eating trash, then they're going to have some sort of system that's going to bring this trash that builds up and get it out of your house to protect you. These workers, in my mind, these are the white blood cells. That's how it works in your lymphatic system. Now, to be honest, it's a lot less trash to pick up if we're not eating that way, right? If we're eating whole, clean food the way the Lord made it, it doesn't come wrapped in all of this other stuff, right? So let's have less trash coming in. Eating whole foods that are not inflammatory, which leads to this toxic trash for the body that I'm trying to kind of help you visualize. That's going to help your body heal and just have less to do in the immune function job in the first place, right? That would be the best practice, is just to not eat foods that create inflammation or trash in the body in the first place. So excess sugar and starch, toxic oils like hydrogenated oils and, soybean oil, sunflower oil, canola, margarine, hydrogenated oils like Crisco and stuff like that, conventionally raised meats that are full of hormones and eating literally trash and nasty candy wrappers and moldy food, and that are maybe munching on pesticide treated grains and foods and all the other miscellaneous chemicals that conventionally raised foods, whether it's corn or milk or dairy or whatever. That's all toxic trash for your body. All right. So we want to try and avoid that. That is one of the best things that you can do for the health of your lymphatic system, which leads to a healthy immune system, which leads to less chronic pain, less fatigue, less issues, less weight, right? Just free flowing. So on to that free flowing, we want to drink lots of water. Staying hydrated helps keep your lymph fluid clear and free flowing. Now, sadly, nodes become overfilled. They become stagnant, and this makes it even harder to dump or remove the waste inside. When your nodes are in that kind of condition, it leads to issues inside the node itself, and we'll see infections and illness and disease. Diseases like cancer, for example. It's common knowledge that cancer loves to use our lymphatic system to spread its disease all around the body. We've all known people with various cancers that have had to go in and surgically get not only the tumors removed, but also any lymph nodes that are nearby, because, they can still be holding little pieces of these disease materials or disease cells. And so we want to remove them. To be honest with you, I want to not even get there. I want to prevent that situation. I don't want to have surgeries and all of this other stuff. So detoxification is so very important for your health. In with the new, out with the old. It's essential, not only for longevity and fighting off disease and illness, but also for feeling good in the moment. That's what we like. Right? We like now. We want everything now. We want Amazon Prime. I don't want it to come in 2 days. I want it to come, tomorrow. And even in some areas, like in the Bay Area, you can get Amazon Prime stuff like in an hour, right? So that's your lymphatic system. Yeah, treating it right now can actually deliver some right now feel good and some tomorrow and all the other tomorrows that are hopefully down the road for you. Okay, so back to the sciencey stuff. Along with white blood cells in the lymphatic fluid, you're also going to find proteins and salts and sugars and some other things among the bacteria and waste that's in this lymphatic fluid as it circulates around the body. Here's a little family story. Our son Hayden, he's now 24 and he's just this amazing guy. He's got a couple kiddos and he mountain climbs. He has his own business. He's really just this incredible human being that I am just absolutely blessed to know him and to have been a part of raising him up. Well, this guy, when he was around 2 or 3 years old, he had to have his tonsils and adenoids removed. Ugh, yuck. These are both glands that are part of the lymphatic system. The spleen and the thymus are also 2 other glands that help filter and produce white blood cells for the immune system. Man, what I would give to know then what I know now, all these years later. I wish that he still had these valuable lymphatic glands, his tonsils and his adenoids. Even today, he suffers from asthma and skin issues due to his immune system. The tonsils, which many people think are useless, they filter bacteria before you even swallow it, and it enters into your digestive system. It's one of the first lines of immune defense, followed closely by your stomach acid, which is a whole other podcast. We're not going to get into that. Now, the adenoids, which are located at the back of your nose, they protect the entrance of your lungs as well as your digestive system. These 2 very important glands are ripped out of so many children, like our son Hayden, as if, boom, this just solved the issue. But I guess it really depends on what you think the issue is. In Hayden's case, his tonsils were swollen to the point of touching, which interfered with his ability to swallow. He would choke on food. It actually seems a little bit caveman now that I think about it. We're these young parents and you go, to the doctor and these tonsils are huge. And, the idea is these tonsils are too big, so pull them out, all better now, kind of a thing. But you know what? Yeah, that was my caveman voice. I don't know how good it was. But he wasn't all better. And truthfully, he still isn't. We know a heck of a lot more about eating and nutrition and gut health and supplements and meditation and being out in nature, all of which he employs. But I have to tell you, he still struggles with skin issues and with asthma, and no wonder, because we pulled out some very important parts of his immune system. So he's basically partially disabled in his immune system, if you ask me. But this is the frustrating part. No one was really asking the real question. Why are they even swollen in the first place? Now, let's get back to the lymphatic system. This is a very important part of the immune system. That's why I wanted to talk about Hayden a little bit. And many of us have had children that have had health issues that we look back and go, oh, I really wish I had known that. So the lymphatic system is actually quite simple. I know I called it complex, but it's more of a complex highway, like driving in LA or driving in the Bay Area or New York City. If you know where you're going, it's not that complex. But when you're from out of town, it could get really confusing and you might need to make some quick interchanges. So even though this may sound a little confusing, it's a pretty simple action. When bacteria or viruses or toxins or any kind of intruder, which may include even byproducts from our own bodily functions, when these components or elements or toxins enter the lymphatic fluid, they eventually become dumped or housed in our lymph nodes. Once there, the immune system can attack them. I think of it kind of like shooting fish in a barrel via white blood cells. So the lymph nodes are critical to our health and the function of our immune system. So yeah, when we have these surgeries and we have cancer or whatever, and they're pulling out, our lymph nodes, it is kind of a big deal. But it's part of what risk are we looking at? You already have cancer and these lymph nodes contain cancerous cells. Yeah, you gotta rip them out. But again, an ounce of prevention, right? What is it? An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of something. I can't remember. I can't remember what it is, but this is all about prevention. These are simple things. Eating a clean, low inflammatory diet, drinking water, and moving your body can go a long ways to protecting yourself. These lymph nodes, like I said, are a critical player in our immune function. And a lot of people are talking about immunity these days because of not only COVID, but the seasons are turning. If you're listening to this podcast, when I air it or close to when I air it, it's springtime and the mountains are filled with pollen right now. So as I mentioned earlier, these lymph nodes are found all over the body. And the ones that most people know about are in the throat area, your groin, and your armpits. But let me tell you, they're scattered all over, even around your navel. There's a whole nest of them around your navel. You even have some behind your knees. And I'll tell you what, the most interesting pair, and it is a pair of lymph nodes for me, and the ones that really affect me the most, are in the back of my head. We have two little nodes on the back of your head. If you're not driving, if you can, put your hands on the back of your head right now, about halfway up and about an inch or two on either side of the midline, you can feel them back there. They should feel like a little bit of a P. So for me, there's like a little, kind of like a little divot, or kind of like it sinks in a little bit. And then right in the center of that, I can press on it. But I tell you what, for me personally, when I have increased inflammation due to food or even stress, just emotional stress, these become very tender. They become so tender that sometimes I can barely even lay my head against the back of the couch. Now, when these nodes are tender, it's actually good to gently rub them or tap them to help the body release the potentially stagnant fluid inside. So there are trained massage therapists that specialize in lymphatic drainage techniques, in fact, and I highly recommend having a relationship with one, going in and working with them. You'll be absolutely amazed at how wonderful it is for your body. So here's a question for anybody who's actually ever had a massage of any kind, a professional massage. Have you ever wondered why they give you that little, bottle of water when you leave and that warning to make sure to keep drinking your water and to kind of keep doing light movement throughout the day rather than just go home and take a nap? Well, the reason why they tell you this is because this improves the process that you've actually paid for. And they've got your lymphatic system, your immune waste management system flowing. They've released a lot of toxins into your system, and you need to help the body get that out. So that's why it's not uncommon for people to feel, even like a little yucky, or maybe even like you're getting a cold, or to actually get a cold after a nice deep tissue massage, since that lymph has been moved around so much. Again, hydration and light movement are very important, and they're going to help your body detox all the hard work that massage therapist put into your session. When your lymph nodes detect these harmful toxins, this actually cues them to make even more white blood cells. And the white blood cells that the lymph nodes make are called lymphocytes. After the lymph fluid travels to and from all these various lymph nodes, it moves on through the spleen and the thymus and finally empties into the bloodstream itself. So many people, I've had several clients that have had their spleen removed. This is yet another filtering organ that benefits this whole immune protective process. Other than filtering, the spleen also helps us balance fluids and also destroys old or damaged red blood cells. Now, cellular death or cleanup or autophagy, is a really important part of health. Damaged or old cells, regardless of the type of cell in your body, they are problematic and can often lead to serious diseases, such as cancer. So immune fighting cells can get pretty detailed. We're not going to go into all the different lymphocytes that our body makes. I know you've probably heard of B cells and T cells, or B lymphocytes or T lymphocytes, for example. These are just more specialized white blood cells that pass through the spleen into the blood. I can have a whole other podcast on that, but that's all we're going to talk about now. Now, these are triggered when the body detects something harmful or foreign. Now, some of these cells have a memory, and they only look for specific issues. Think of like when you were a kid and you got your polio vaccine. The polio vaccine created specific immune cells that just wait around looking for polio, and when it sees it, it destroys it. And I just have to say, just in short, and we're not going to go into a big vaccine talk, but this is not how the current COVID vaccines, the RNA vaccines, work, just in case you're wondering. So another important lymphatic system helper is the thymus. Your thymus is located underneath your rib cage, near the diaphragm, in the same neighborhood as the spleen, and it has a similar job of filtering and creating and removing even white blood cells. So many of you know that I have lupus, and also lupus is an autoimmune disease, and I also have an inflammatory arthritis disease called spondyloarthropy. I like to just call it spondy and loopy. It just sounds friendlier to me, not as scary. So it's very important for me to live a low inflammation lifestyle. This is key to managing the progression of my diseases. But you don't have to have autoimmune diseases to be concerned and to put focus and emphasis on caring for your lymphatic system. As a matter of fact, what did I say? An ounce of prevention. That's what we're going for right now. Just a little bit of your time. Now, lymphatic drainage techniques are very important and they are a consistent part of my day. I do them every single morning. I do lymphatic tapping and I also do dry brushing. So what are some of the symptoms of a stressed, sluggish, or basically I think of as being just kind of like an irritated lymphatic system? It's going to show up as joint pain, chronic fatigue, muscle aches and pain, fibromyalgia, a sore throat, and frequent colds, arthritis, swollen lymph nodes, like we've talked about, like on the back of my head. That's where I personally will get some swelling. And of course, you have, the area that the doctor checks underneath your jaw. And yes, the formation of cancer cells. Well, okay, time to take the science hat off. And thank you for bearing with me. And I hope I was able to paint a nice little word picture for you to better understand that. For me, when I can have an association with maybe a tough subject to understand, I'll remember it better. So I hope that I did that for you. So I want you to really walk away with today with just this feeling of, wow, now that I know what the lymphatic system is, I want to put some practices into my life to care for my lymphatic system so that it can help me function not only today, but also tomorrow. Not just the pollen that's in the air today, right? But I want it to keep me from that cancer diagnosis or that autoimmune disease diagnosis. All right, so let's talk about that. Let's get to the how-tos. Here are some basic and simple practices for you to incorporate into your everyday life that will leave your lymphatic system happy, happy, happy. Now, after all, we can't expect to live long and well if our defense system is not working properly. So I'm going to talk about 6 different techniques initially here. I already mentioned the first one, eat a low inflammation and clean diet. If you need more help with that, I want you to go to my website, thepathforhealth.com. I have a free ebook that's on clean eating that can lay it out for you. I also have a 7-day free Kickstart video series that can get you going. And there's other resources on there too. Like if you need help right away and you need some one-on-one work, you can fill out a contact form and I can put you through a free consultation to see if it would be a good fit for one-on-one work, assuming I have an availability and opening. I also have a monthly membership that is super affordable. And there are other women, Christian women, not all Christian women, but a lot of Christian women that are working together and they're trying to figure out how to do this eating a low inflammation, clean diet. The membership is all about, I give you a little education and I give you some how-tos, but you have direct access to me because I spend a lot of time in a private Facebook group in the membership. And you can go there and it's $24.99 a month and you can try it out and there's no contracts or anything. And I'd be happy to help you on any level. Another level would be waiting until September until my next 6-week course opens up. So you can work on it yourself or you can become a member of my membership or wait for the course or work with me one-on-one. There's lots of ways to learn how to eat a clean, low inflammation diet. The next thing, in order to reduce inflammation and increase lymphatic function, I need you to move a little bit throughout the day. Walking is the best. All your muscles are going and, kind of massaging everything around. But it's not just all in one workout, right? I want to make sure that every single hour, if you're sitting at a desk or whatever your type of work is, standing or whatever it is, that you have an opportunity to get in a little bit of movement. Some of you that may be listening, you might even be disabled to the point to where you're bedridden. That doesn't mean that you can't move your body. Move your legs around, move your arms around, swing your arms around. There's no wrong way to do this. A super duper simple way to do it that's even kind of fun is to get one of those indoor bounders. It looks like a real small trampoline and you just get on it for a couple minutes and you don't have to jump super high, like a 7-year-old on there. You can just bounce a little bit and that's a great way to get your lymphatic fluid moving and flowing. And then getting 7 to 8.5 hours of sleep each night. That's a massive part of detoxification. We're going to talk a whole lot more about detoxing during sleep in a future podcast. I talk about it in my courses a lot. We even had a whole month on improving sleep in the membership last year, and I plan on doing that again because 9 out of 10 people actually report that they do not get enough sleep. And if they are sleeping, they're not feeling rested when they get up. And when you wake up in the morning, and if you have that foggy-headed feeling like you feel worse for the wear, that is a sure sign that your body has a detoxification issue. And I can definitely help you with that. Of course, we mentioned drinking water. So we've talked about number 1, eating a low inflammation diet. Number 2, making sure that you're moving. Number 3, getting enough sleep. And number 4, you can probably say it with me, but drink 1.5 times your body weight in ounces of water. Healthy filtered water to provide your body, both your blood and your fluid, so that it can be the right consistency to just slip through and we don't have all of that congestion. We want that in with the old, or in with the new, out with the old, functioning really great. The next one, number 5, need I say it? Don't smoke. Don't smoke, and try not to drink more than 1 alcoholic drink per day. Alcohol is very inflammatory for the body. We all have different tolerances for it, blood sugar wise, but alcohol in and of itself creates a leaky gut. Even just 1 drink, a leaky gut. Well, when you have a leaky gut, that's putting other things that you eat throughout the day through like a cheesecloth. It's separating your tight cellular junction, and it's letting toxins or inappropriate materials or components or proteins or whatever through right into your bloodstream, which triggers an immune response. So if you're drinking several drinks per day, you're not allowing your body to heal and protect itself. So see if you can limit it to at least 1 alcoholic drink per day. Another thing is lowering stress. If we can lower stress by practicing any kind of mindfulness techniques, it goes a long way with helping your body's immune system work properly. There's that whole gut and brain connection. That's really, really real. It's really, really real. There's a lot of science behind that highway with the vagus nerve and how it runs the brain and the stomach. It communicate along that vagal highway. And so whether you're taking walks out in nature, you're doing breathing exercises, you're just sitting quietly with your own thoughts, maybe you're praying, maybe you're journaling, maybe you're doing Tai Chi. There's a lot of different ways to practice quietness and mindfulness. Now, in a future episode, I will talk specifically about anti-inflammatory diets, what it means, why it's important to consume anti-inflammatory foods, and how to live without feeling like you're always on a diet, and also how to make it personal. But the final 2 practices, I actually mentioned them earlier. This is number 7 and number 8, is dry brushing and lymphatic tapping. Now, I am going to do a short video and show you exactly how I do this. And if you'd like to access these short videos, all you need to do is head over to my website, and you'll see that I have a little button that says, I'll call it like, what should we call it? Because I actually haven't put the button on there yet. How about I'll just put lymph work or something. You'll know what it is when you see it, but you can head over to my website and I'll have some videos on there. Actually, it'll probably be on the main video portion of my website. So every single week, I go into a Facebook group for women. This is women restoring their health and their faith over 40. You can find it on Facebook and join us, ladies. And every week I do educational videos for them. Maybe they're motivational, inspirational. Maybe I'm showing them how to do something. Maybe I'm teaching them something. These are all just free videos because this is my passion. I wish that I had this when I was working on my health. And so I just figured, I can I can look back and say, I wish I had it, or, I could be the type of person that helps somebody else. And that's what I do. So tell you what, I'm going to make this really, really easy. The dry brushing and the lymphatic tapping videos are going to be front and center on my website in my video library. So you can scroll through all the different little videos and check that out. Make it nice and easy for you. Well, again, thank you so much for joining me here on the Path for Health podcast. I know that I've had a great time, and I love getting questions from you guys. And thank you so much for subscribing. And it makes it easier to find my podcast on the podcast players when you subscribe. And then, of course, you're not ever missing an episode, which is nice, because when I have like a timely discount or when there's an event coming up, then you're not gonna miss that. So make sure you subscribe, and then also put a comment, or if you can give me a review. I mean, dude, I'll ask, give me a 5-star review if you're enjoying these things. I would greatly appreciate it. But in the meantime, have a glorious day. Happy lymphatic health to you. And this is Brandy Lloyd from the Restore Path podcast, and I will see you next week.